Welcome back. We move on now to the just concluded 9th Lagos Economic Summit, tagged Enyingbeti 2022. It was held from the 11th to the 12th of October with the theme Lagos 2022 to 2052, charting the path to sustainable development, the 30-year plan. In line with the foregoing, the Lagos State Ministry of Justice, led by the Attorney General, organized a plenary session on the civil litigation conundrum where panelists discussed extensively the Lagos State Administration of Civil Justice Bill.
Professor Dieter, I mean, you have experience spanning.
The Lagos State Administration of Civil Justice Bill 2022 has got lawyers and members of the legal community excitedly looking forward to key reforms the bill would make. The bill by the Lagos State Ministry of Justice is currently undergoing deliberations, and it seeks, amongst other things, to aid economic growth, increase the confidence of the public in the judiciary, and promote the prompt litigation of civil cases in the state. At one of the plenary sessions of the 9th Enyingbeti Summit, moderated by the Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Moyosore Onigbanjo, a panel of senior legal practitioners took a critical look at the drafting technique of the proposed bill, as well as some of the provisions in need of adjustments.
I think the issue of stay of proceedings is actually something that, just as it has happened in administration of criminal justice, we should just take out entirely. In the sense that every single thing that you want to deal with, leave the High Court and then deal with it in the appellate court.
If you follow the Odia and Alaga line of cases, which prescribe that original process must be served in person, and you are seeking consent from the prospective defendant, how does that work in implementation? So whilst it's a laudable provision and should remain, I think more attention needs to be paid to how it will work and the circumstances in which it will work.
You then ask yourself, how do the judges operate this principle of indemnity where they have absolutely no evidence and the rule tells you immediately that they can assess summarily? How are they able to perform that if they are to indemnify the other party?
There has to be a proper jurisprudence around costs. It shouldn't be just arbitrary. It shouldn't be the way the judge feels on a particular day. There has to be a standard. There has to be, and the rules are there. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. You have a taxation of costs. In an ideal world, we should have, if you've engaged a senior advocate just for appearing in court one day, this is the minimum that you'll be charged in costs. So it's not really down to the parties anymore. The court will say, well, you give me your cost assessment, and if the other side doesn't agree, then we send it for taxation, and you have a registrar who specializes in that.
In order to ensure that the confidence bestowed on the court is not eroded, the panelists also discussed some of the challenges facing litigation of civil cases in Lagos State courts.
Now, for me, I get worried, for example, if a judge is telling me that on a particular day is the birthday of the chief judge and I'm not going to sit. And so when you say that to the hearing of litigant, you send a signal that justice doesn't really matter.
How we can get judges to confine themselves to a certain time frame when adjourning cases for rulings is a little ridiculous when you have an adjournment for a ruling on a simple matter like seeking to withdraw a suit, and then you get a 6-week adjournment.
In his closing remarks, the Attorney General encouraged every legal practitioner to be proactive and give more suggestions to further perfect the bill in order to facilitate the smooth administration of justice in Lagos State.
We will have a bar bench forum specifically for this law and all the engagement that we can. So this bill is not, we don't want anybody to see it as an executive bill. It's a bill for all the stakeholders in civil administration of civil justice.